to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, the spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip.
Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get it on down. Select to make your first pick. Get it on down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Get it on down. Choose and pick the best one. Get it on down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, one box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may leave you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge things.
See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know it just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes.
You're on the way to choose your type of life cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, the spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make you backflip.
Get it on down. Select to make your first pick.
Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is May 26, 2026. Wow. Welcome back. It is time for another episode of Gamer Quotient / Gaming Academy. If you're in chat, type whatever letter in there, especially F, if you're in chat right now, and say what's up. Say hello to everybody here, and thank you for showing up. But regardless, welcome back, students, faculty, gamers, button mashers, rhythm chasers, backlog survivors, and everybody who has ever said, just one more run, and then somehow lost 3 hours of their life, just like me over the weekend here. So this is Gamer Quotient Gaming Academy, and tonight, class is officially in session. I think we're class session study hall, because we don't count these ones. But we get a special study hall for tonight, and we are stepping into the dance floor with Dead as Disco. Now, this is a rhythm action beat 'em up where every punch, dodge, combo, and clash asks one very important question. Are you moving with purpose, or are you just pressing buttons and hoping the beat forgives you? If you guys have played DDR, Bust a Move, or any like Parappa the Rapper, any rhythm-related games, this one takes it to the next level. So check it out. Tonight's lesson is all about playing with intention. We've covered this topic all over the channel. Now, that means we're not just firing up a game because it's new. We're not just chasing hype. We're not letting FOMO grab the controller and pick our session for us. Sorry. Now, tonight we're going in with a specific purpose. Now, we're going to start with our why, then choose one focus from that. Then we'll switch over to a set of small win conditions, and we're going to play by feel and not by FOMO. And what does that mean? Well, sometimes you just want to play a game because, well, I feel like being like, a knight. I feel like I want to be a race car driver. So you play those specific games, right? And when this session is over, we're going to reflect, adjust, and ask, did this game time actually move me forward? Because here at Gaming Academy, we believe in gaming time can be more than just time spent. It can be time invested, protected time. And that idea fits perfectly with Dead as Disco. Now, this is a game where style matters, right? Rhythm matters and timing matters. And panic mashing may just get you through a moment, but I don't think it will teach you a lesson. So, with that said, that's not all we got going tonight. Nick is bringing us a special retrospective on Sierra Online, one of the most important names in PC gaming history. Now, Before massive open worlds and cinematic choice driven adventures and modern narrative games became the standard, Sierra was out here asking players to type commands, solve puzzles, explore strange worlds, make mistakes, get stuck, laugh, fail, reload. And I remember this because I also play King's Quest, right? And also Space Quest, and not Police Quest, and especially Leisure Suit Larry. Who can forget that? Now, Sierra helped shape what adventure games could be. These were games that demanded patience, curiosity, problem solving, and a willingness to experiment. And honestly, that connects directly to tonight's study hall theme. Because whether we're talking about an old school Sierra adventure game or a modern rhythm action beat 'em up, the lesson here is the same. So pay attention, think before you act, learn from the myths, and play with intention. Tonight, we're bridging the past, the present, and we're looking back. Grab your notebooks, stretch those fingers, watch your timing, and read the room, and of course, feel the beat. And remember, don't mash, don't drift, play with intention. We mean that. Now, let's go ahead and let's pull up our roster here. We'll bring up the character select screen and say what's up to everybody.
Absolutely, man. I'm here. I'm on the screen.
He's
I
alive.
can see the player select, but like I'm excited by that intro already. You already tied it all together.
Good. I'm glad. Well, since we're doing this thing where we introduce ourselves, so please introduce yourselves, guys.
Well, starting from my end, folks. How y'all doing? I am your professor of applied sciences. Y'all might know me as Ace. I am Blazing Ace Nelson. I'm here basically to, not just help guide you through the study hall as well, especially for this class, but again to show what it means to really play with intention and show the mechanics of how that actually works. If you want to know how the sausage is made, there's other more knowledgeable people right here on the screen that can explain that to you. But if you want to know what makes the sausage taste good, I can help you with that.
Yeah, you weren't coming to me for any kind of pattern recognition. I've said multiple times that's just not my game. Like I'll go to Ace or James for that. Absolutely. I'm Nick. Hello, everyone, aka Tragic Elite. I fancy myself a cabaret club owner because I'm a fan of the Yakuza series. Fans in chat, I know you're here. I spent the better part of about 20 years in the video game industry. I've always had a bit of a passion for it. Video game retail, a little bit of consulting, a little bit of social media management, and working a little bit with Xbox research from my time with at my time over there at Microsoft, or contracted with Microsoft. I love sharing the gaming industry with a lot of people and hearing stories. So I tend to rely more on like my retrospectives, gaming history, speak a little bit about the times that have passed and why we are still connected to those times, even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. So that's what I bring to the cast. That's what I love talking about. So anytime you're in chat, I love hearing your stories. So please reach out, Discord, chat, anytime. Happy to chat with you.
Anytime I see a nostalgic gaming meme, I always send it to Nick, no matter what it is.
I've been sending reels to Ace now for the better part of like 2-3 months, and he hasn't looked at a single one. I'm not 100% he's on Instagram or has access to it, but he's got a backlog of reels from me that I think are just a lot of fighting game memes and that kind of thing. Like, when you get a chance, man, log back into that. Hit me up. I want to see your reaction to something.
He can doom scroll specifically just with the stuff you said.
A very curated list.
And of course, I DQ Asian dude, the headmaster of the Gamer Quotient / Gaming Academy. I worked with these crazy guys and hung out with these crazy guys for over years. Nick and I have playthroughs on YouTube on Left 4 Dead. We worked together at the local game store.
Do that again.
Yeah, we've experienced different, almost I would say different eras of gaming together. So
yeah,
which is very interesting. If you followed gaming for the longest time, I think the only thing that we haven't really experienced together was retro, like retro.
No. That's been a pretty big conversation between us. Is that you were SNES, I was Genesis during that era. We were two divergent paths that ended up converging at some point. During our time. During what was it?
PS2 era.
the DS era.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
have to say, like a little bit more like the PS3 360 DS era was about the time we were working together.
I agree. Yeah, and also, Ace is also part of our gaming ecosystem here. He's ran the local arcades like where I would go on my breaks, right, and show them what's up, right.
This dude
Represent.
used to buy games from us too.
Yeah, exactly. It's in a very loyal customer and client. So it's like all these timelines converge into one, and here we are. And so you
Well, that's
guys
the beauty
are
of it, man. You said you lost some hours over the weekend. Were you playing something?
yes. Well, I platinum trophied AC Origins, and that was so interesting about that. I don't want to go into it too long. I beat the game 2 weeks ago, and I platinumed it last week. So it was a very interesting experience because I was like, I already beat the game, but I want to get a platinum trophy, not with the DLC, just the base game, right? And it still took me another week to finish. So, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So it kind of brought me to this like situation where I was like, man, they really need to be making these trophies that like make you play the game, but also get the trophy. You don't have to go out of your way to go get it, right? So, I don't know, that's just me.
I'm already having flashbacks to Mahjong and Yakuza.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Because like, and the reason why I brought that up is because when I played RoboCop Rogue City, I got the platinum trophy by just playing the game, but also looking at every nook and corner and then doing all the side quests. Right? I didn't have to do these weird things that like kill 500 guys with like your bow or something like that. So I was just like, what the heck? Like this is kind of insane. And it taught me a little bit more about myself, how I'm not a platinum like a trophy hunter. I just really want to experience the game as it was designed, and I'm not gonna, I think Dynasty Wars really ruined me. PTSD.
Oh yeah. We all have those games where like that was broken. I remember, especially during the era of Achievement Hunter, like people would come in. I forget what game it was. They'd come in and buy. I think it was like one of like the Avatar 360 games had like 8 achievements to give you 1,000 gamer points. Right. And people would just buy that game and return it within its used window just because they wanted to get the gamer points. Like, dude,
the easy platinum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what is that? Terminator Resistance had the easy platinum where you just played. Was it the Resistance? No, the one before that. It was just you just play the game, you beat every level, you get all silver trophies, and the last trophy is a platinum trophy. It's like that's it. It's pretty easy. But anyway, I played that. I played Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, and I'm terrible at it, which is okay. And I actually like it because I've never played a Chinese horror.
Well, there'll be some time until the sequel eventually comes out. We only just had the rights moved.
Yeah. and an Ace is gonna love this because I actually cracked open Godfall for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was. Yeah,
now here's the thing. I saw that you were playing Absalom.
Yeah, that too. I played 4 games over the weekend, and that never happens. Right?
Oh, that's great, dude. That's why I wanted to ask. We haven't talked lately, us 4, when Oliver's here as well, about what we've been playing lately. So it's good to hear what you played over the weekend. I jumped into Forza Horizon 6 over the weekend, put a ton of time into that. Little known fact, what I've spent most of my time doing is just putting livery designs on my car because I'm determined to make the 300 GT design from the Jackie Chan movie Thunderbolt.
Nice.
He's got a 300 GT and that has a very specific livery on it. And I'm finding like the little ones that people have made for it. I'm putting it all together. It's just stupid waste of time.
Is that the Mitsubishi?
Yeah, that's the Mitsubishi at the end. Not the one he had earlier in the movie, but the 300 GT at the end that has like the Nikos thing like on the side of it. It's special, dude. I'll take some photos and throw it up on Discord one of these days.
It's funny because you put Jackie Chan and car, immediately my brain goes to Meals on Wheels.
Oh yeah, no, it was not the typical Jackie Chan movie. I remember watching it back in the day, and be like, oh, this is different. There's some action scenes, but he's driving. He's a racer.
What about you, Ace? What did you do over the weekend?
A whole lot of Muso.
It is Muso May at Blazing Ace channel.
And check.
That's correct.
But like over the last few days, I literally decided to take some time to go through like the 2 core like parallel Muso games over at Koei Tecmo. So I basically fired up Dynasty Warriors 2, went from that all the way through to Origins, and then covered Samurai Warriors 1 up through 5. Yeah.
That's
But
exactly what it is.
To make sure that we didn't, burn out on those games, though, usually with like an hour left in the stream, I'd, switch over to something different just so that way we could, have a game to chill out and just, cool down with. So, went back, played some more Absalom, kept doing that grenade run or that death grenade custom challenge. That one's always hilarious.
Man, so I get it now. I am like 6 months late on Absalom, right? But this, like, when these guys talk about how this is like the future of beat 'em ups, I was like, this is the formula. This is what's gonna keep people playing beat 'em ups over and over again.
Better late than never.
Yeah, you should check it out, man. Honestly, Nick, like it's well made. It's of course the guys that made Street Fighter Age 4. But it's like the discovery portion of it. It honestly made me feel like I was playing Guardian Heroes all over again. It was great.
Yeah, I've been loving you guys talking about it. I've just been it's just been a gaming desert for me lately. I haven't been able to pick stuff up. I've been lucky enough where a buddy of mine who loves Forza bought a copy for me because he knew how much I was looking forward to it.
Nice.
Of course, it was like he bought it for me the week before Discord now has, if you have their membership or whatever, you get Game Pass as part of that. Like entry level Game Pass. So it's like, great. Now I have access to that again because I haven't had Game Pass since I left Microsoft.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, excited. I mean, beyond that, I was kind of looking at going back to Civ because they just released the updates to Civ 7. So now they have the enduring factions or the enduring civilizations of history. So you can just play the one throughout history. So that's on my backlog of checking out. But man, like you said, with Left 4 Dead 2, I've just been in this mood lately to hook up a LAN, like get together and just play with friends. I just miss that so much. And for some reason, I think about that during summer. So like Left 4 Dead, we were talking about doing some Halo LAN as well with some friends at work. So it's been the talk, man.
To be fair, summer is like the perfect season for LAN parties and Tostitos.
Yeah, yeah. Or pizza, the little pizza pockets, or like the Totinos, the pizza rolls. Yeah, dude.
Those are great.
Oh, my middle-aged body weeps.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have the retrospective, and because nostalgia is a son of a gun. So, all right, bring us back to our next segment here on the show, guys. Enjoy this awesome marquee art. I love it too. But yes, we have one of these once a month. Nick, tell us more.
Oh, I'm so glad. Everyone who's in chat, put on your slippers. Sit back, maybe a little mug of cocoa, or maybe it's too warm for that, like me, some water. Retrospective is our chance once a month to look into the past and highlight a dev team, a publisher, or a defining moment from gaming that shaped the industry, or maybe our personal love of video games as well. So let's take a look back, learn a little about where we come from, and maybe a little bit of what we lost. Like I said, this is one of my favorite things to kind of go back and talk about. It's always a fun thing to discuss on our Discord. This month's retrospective, like James shouted out at the top of the podcast, is we are being focused this time on the early adventure game pioneers of Sierra Online. It's a story of rags to riches, passion, determination, and how sometimes even the best intentions or direction can end up being the wrong path taken. I've actually been lucky enough to meet some former employees of Sierra's heyday here in the Seattle area, including local content creator Metal Jesus Rocks. So shout out to him and for sharing his experiences on this channel. I'll link one of his videos discussing his time at the company, some suggested follow-up readings, as well as links to the articles I mentioned on our Discord in a new channel devoted to gaming history and retrospectives that I'm heading up. Also, I'm not going to go super into depth. There's actually a crowdfunded documentary that was crowdfunded 2 years ago, and the company had just finished recording its rough cut after like those 2 years of work. It's called Legends of Adventure. I think they can do it much better than me. I've been looking forward to that finally being done. But with all that said, let's hop into what I'm talking about this month. Now, at the beginning of this story, we have a whirlwind romance, young love, and living in a rough part of Los Angeles. Finding work where they could by learning computer programming. The goal was to make money and get out of the downtown center. That wasn't really the best environment for a little garage-based business startup. What helped online systems survive these early days was the tandem of people who who are always at the center of conversations about Sierra. Husband and wife team Ken and Roberta Williams. Roberta was the creative drive of the company and is still considered by many publications to be one of the most influential creators in the video game industry. Ken was the technical mind. He had a sales background and an understanding of the engineering side of the industry that would serve to direct the company's decisions over the years. These two people were trying to change the world with their work. At one point, Ken brought home a teletype terminal from work, which, if you're not familiar with those, that's when you'd literally put a phone on a receiver and remote work. They had this back in the day, man. This is like late 70s, right, that they're doing this. So if you think remote work is something that's new, it's not. They were doing it back then. Have you ever seen the movie War Games when Matthew Broderick's character is putting the phone on that little thing? Same idea. Good throwback, by the way. If you haven't seen that recently, it's fun to go back and watch that. Anyway, Ken brought home that teletype terminal and found a text adventure game called Colossal Cave Adventure in the company's software catalog. After encouraging Roberta to play it along with him, she took over and her love of the medium absolutely gripped, continuing to play other titles on the market after that. This caused a reckoning for Roberta as she quickly got over the text-only nature of these titles and realized that the graphics display of the Apple II computers of the time could actually create even better adventure experiences. It was at that point she decided it was time to make her own games. While she had some programming knowledge, she convinced Ken to help, and in 1980 they designed the game Mystery House. This was a pivotal change in their lives. While showing off Roberta's game to friends, Ken saw their reactions and even had offers from a local PC store to pay Roberta to release the game with them. It shifted this from a passion or a side project to exactly the kind of business Ken was trying to found and grow. It sold out, and demand in the local area did not stop. It actually sold more than 10,000 copies through mail order, and including its re-release 2 years later, over 80,000 worldwide. More than that, though, this was a pivotal title in video games as well. Mystery House is the first graphical adventure game, as well as one of the earliest horror video games. I really can't stress enough that this was going from a plain text adventure game to adding graphical scenes to a game using the Versa Writer machine. Now, this thing would allow users to trace over a line drawing and convert it into a digital drawing, though Ken did find out that the results of this process were way too large to fit on the 5.5-inch floppy disks that were widely used at the time. So he just came up with a solution of converting them into coordinates and having the program instructions do the redrawing for them. Oh, and of course, to write a better version of the scanning software at the same time. No big deal. This led the duo to create the high-res adventure series next, and after the success of their Wizard and the Princess release, they moved into game development full-time, changing the company into Sierra Online in 1982 and moving to Oakhurst, California. The Sierra Nevada mountain range nearby was the inspiration for the name change. The growing company was able to survive the video game crash of 1983 with only a small increase in their sales, and were already butting up against the rapid pace of technological change. I mean, keep in mind at the time, they were developing games for computers like the VIC-20 and the TI-99, which were absolutely obsolete by the end of that year. Not only that, this was exactly the time when the company, after being pressured by investors, had invested millions into buying cartridges and systems to make the jump onto the console market with Atari. If you were here for our Interplay retrospective last time, you probably remember how much the console market was dwarfing PC sales and ultimately caused issues for that company too. This was likely the correct decision, but at exactly the wrong time with Atari going under. This is when the miracle happened for them. The rough market was exactly when IBM contacted Sierra about creating a game for their PC Junior, which is their entry-level PC for the market. This would end up being the point-and-click juggernaut that James absolutely talked about at the top of this, which is King's Quest. This was the vehicle that the company used to showcase its new tech. Roberta would go to Ken and Sierra's engineers to ask how they could push their current engine to the absolute limit and what sort of things could they showcase. And every subsequent release, like the one you see on the screen right now, you would see a jump in technologies that tried to bring new things into each game. They both shared that the goal was to push the industry forward as well, or at least try to show off what they think the industry could be doing next. For a humble seeming point and click adventure title, it's absolutely wild to learn about the amount of thought and care that these two had for their company's vision. I mean, they clearly cared, they were passionate, and they wanted to share those experiences. Actually, the 80s were when Sierra's best known series were created, and the company emphasized developing and expanding those titles. Post King's Quest, Ken aimed to pivot the company's engine and teams into educational games and different audiences. I'm talking about things like Space Quest, created by programmers Mark Crow and Scott Murphy. It released in 1986 as an instant success because the team wanted to pivot away from medieval settings that have been pretty much Sierra's catalog at that point. 1987's Police Quest in Pursuit of the Death Angel, which was developed by a retired highway patrol officer and Ken's friend Jim Wells. It spawned multiple sequels, it was lauded for its adherence to police protocol, and it actually even presented some real-life situations that Wells encountered during his career. Sierra programmer Al Lowe was asked to write a modern version of Chuck Benson's soft porn adventure, which went on to become 1987's best adventure game of the year as Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Lounge Lizards. In 1989, the hybrid adventure RPG Quest for Glory, designed by Corey and Lori Ann Cole, blended humor, puzzle elements, and themes and characters from various legends and puns. This became a 5-part series. After these hits, where Sierra went next is fairly common for successful development and publishing teams of the era. They hatched acquisitions and went public. Dynamix joined Sierra in 1990, adding award-winning titles like Red Baron and Aces of the Pacific to the catalog, as well as publishing 2 of my very favorite early PC games, Incredible Machine and 3D Ultra Pinball. In 1995, Sierra purchased the rights to Print Artists, which let users create and print professional quality documents. Acquiring Green Thumb Software led to home gardening and landscape software, and Master Cook's publisher Arian Software was added in as well. Sierra also purchased Impressions Games, who were pillars in strategy gaming known for Caesar 2 and 3, as well as Lords of the Realm. Heck, guys, these are just some of the examples of how the company expanded into sports, simulations, strategy, home productivity, and casual entertainment. That is why their logo at the startup of so many pieces of software is so ubiquitous. That's why I remember it so well. You remember the You Don't Know Jack games? Yep, Berkeley Systems was also acquired by Sierra in 1997. They were under the umbrella. Now, the 1990s were when the company moved into our backyard here in the Pacific Northwest by ending up in Bellevue, Washington. By this point, it was now made up of 5 different development divisions, all sharing manufacturing, distribution, and sales resources. What I really want to highlight, though, is why it is so interesting to dive into these retrospectives, and it's those little what-ifs and major defining products of the era. I can't, in good conscience, cover every single thing that Sierra has touched. They released an MMO called The Realm Online in 1996. This was before the term massively multiplayer even existed. They negotiated the rights to publish Half-Life in 1996, which is a topic, honestly, I'll need a single retrospective episode just to cover for that. But what I want to highlight for you, class, is Phantasmagoria. This 1995 point-and-click adventure horror game was Roberta Williams' baby. This was during the peak of interactive movie or FMV games featuring live-action actors and footage, cinematic scenes, and 3D rendered environments. This was the largest project that Sierra undertook. Most games at this era, keep in mind, featured 80 to 100 backgrounds. Phantasmagoria includes over 1,000 backgrounds. It had 135 voice choir doing Neo-Gregorian chants. It shipped on 7 discs. This was the first Sierra online game to sell over 1 million copies. If you've ever seen gameplay of this title, you know that the cinematics were super compressed. Because of the formatting to even fit on those CDs, the amazing video captured ended up so pixelated and small. Now, this game showed that the CD-ROM market was profitable, but it's also remembered for, in part, sparking the moral panic in this country in the mid-90s. For the mature audience, the game was made for a mature audience, but the graphic depictions of gore, violence, and SA made it a central talking point around the video game rating system and censorship. Now the what if. In early 1992, Sierra Online almost purchased a little 4-developer team trying to show off one of their games. The studio's game, Commander Keen. The team, id Software. What a twist would that have been, guys? And how crazy would it have been to see their wildly diverging paths from this point. id founder John Romero recounted the meeting at a GDC conference in 2022. Ken wasn't moved by an early build of Wolfenstein 3D, which, as we know, is a progenitor of the FPS shooter genre, as we know them. For his part, though, Ken actually did offer $2.5 million in company stock, especially after learning how id was making $50K a month just with its shareware model. Though they were thrilled, id Software decided to ask for an extra $100,000 upfront as a show of faith. But that was when Ken said no thanks, wished them well, and walked away. We all know where id went from here, but Sierra, on the other hand, well, a few years later, Sierra was acquired by CUC International when Ken decided to sell the company. It put it on the path to collapse and closure. Now, the premise was lucrative enough, and Ken accepted the offer, thinking that it was in the best interest for Sierra's future. It could have been a deal that would have been the start of acquisitions that would have included LucasArts, Borderbund, and holdings like Blizzard Entertainment. But deals fell through. Staff chafed under the new direction, and the new owners mismanaged the team into multiple consolidations, layoffs, disputes, and eventually an absorption into Vivendi Games. At the end of this storyline, though, is what a lot of people are familiar with, at least concerning the Sierra story and the Sierra brand. Massive fraud. In 1997, CUC merged with HFS Incorporated to form Cendent Corporation. In just months after the merger, internal audits found that 3 years' worth of the previous earnings had been completely fabricated, costing investors roughly $19 billion. $14 billion were wiped out in market value in a single day, and federal convictions were handed out to the people at the top. In a 2021 interview on Wired, Ken would say that if he could change a single decision he made over his career at Sierra, his response was, quote, "Selling the company was the absolute worst thing that could have happened. I was convinced I made the right decision based on what I knew at the time, but it destroyed the company," unquote. Sierra went defunct in 2008, and properties were sold off when Activision merged with Vivendi to become Activision Blizzard. IPs were thrown into wind, and many found a home elsewhere and became big titles that we know today. Now, the brand did get revived under Activision in 2014, but only lasted till 2016. Class, that is such a sad ending to a little startup that was another titan of our childhood. And that's my retrospective for this month.
Man, Ace, you wanna say some stuff? I got some stuff to say.
just taking a look back at that legacy that Sierra Online had. I mean, it's astonishing just looking back on it and seeing just how much of our childhood was actually, occupied by Sierra games, in addition to Westwood and Broderbund. Like those were pretty much the big three.
Yeah.
But seeing how things turned out recently with them, though, with especially that whole fraud thing.
19 billion
in a
3
day.
years of just straight up falsifying earnings. Like,
It's also what, 1990 something? 19 billion is much more than it is now.
yeah. Let's look up the conversion. Damn.
Oh,
That's
God, I'm
crazy.
afraid to see it.
That's crazy. While you're doing that, like watching those and seeing those images of like King's Quest and like Leisure Suit Larry and just all these old PC games, one made me remember my 133 megahertz computer Intel. So with like what 8 megs of RAM or something like that. It was like it was like before Windows. I actually had to learn DOS to play some of these games. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've experienced and I caught on to the 5.5 floppy disk, right? Which eventually shrank it to like 3.5, right? I can't remember one of those. Yeah, so and seeing that, I was telling chat that like I remember playing these games where you would load the screen and it would gradually just fill in the graphics as you go into the next window or the next screen. And I was like, oh man, they just brought me to the computer lab.
A couple of the videos that I'm going to link in the Discord as well kind of cover a little bit of just like how the technology was pushed forward by these guys. Like some of the early King's Quest games, they didn't have the knowledge at the time to do 3D graphics when 3D graphics were just starting to take off. So they literally built a program that put it on a 2D plane and had lines in the program that would tell the program which things needed to be pushed forward. It wouldn't even make it 3D; it would just make it appear 3D, like where you are in the environment. That's how your King's Quest character could walk behind a bush or something like that.
Yeah.
It's still on this tiny plane. Just like the workarounds they had to do, the creative passion that they had for this. It's just that was surely indicative of the time, and you don't see that so much nowadays with all the technology and stuff we have. But that's why I loved diving into this so much, and why it took such a long turnaround to do it. There's just so much information out there, but I just wanted to highlight a snippet of it and see what you guys had to say and see what chat thought.
There's a lot, honestly. Like, I think memories just started pouring in when I watched those like ads and like the magazine ads, even the video. Just seeing the gameplay for some of these, I'm just like, man, I just remember seeing these at like stores, brick and mortar stores, micro centers, right? EB Games, software, etc. Like, I'm talking Comp USA. Remember, guys, Comp USA?
Oh yeah,
like these guys were these boxes for these PC games were gigantic. They were much bigger than console games, and I just remember like seeing that box of a PC game. I was always like immediately my brain goes, man, I wish I had enough money to get a good PC like when I was a kid, right? Because I was limited to Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and every kid had that, but not every household had a PC, right? And luckily, my dad used the PC for work, so I would kind of like, Dad, can we just get this game and play it? Can I play it on your computer? Like, and like I said, Doom was one of the first games I ever played on shareware PC, just because it was like under $5 or something like that, and and I didn't even have a sound card when I played that game because my dad didn't require a sound on his PC. So that's how crazy PC gaming has kind of just jumped the gun in generations, and I almost want to say I'm honored to be like to experience that before we jumped into like the new age of technology.
Yeah.
Right?
I get that completely. That's honestly how I felt studying a little bit of this like history for Sierra, because one of the things like you just said kind of leapt out at me was the same reason that Roberta got into these games. It was something that just grabbed her, that attention, and something she became passionate about. We talk about that a lot, about our first experiences with games and how it kind of set us on this path. That happened for these two, just a random thing to try out back in the day, and then going from there and being creative with it and iterating and building and not letting technology hold you back. Like, how can we push this forward? It's something that I feel is lost more often than not. I mean, these guys started just doing adventure games, and eventually Sierra became so much more. Like I remember seeing the Sierra logo on Adventures of Willie Beamish. I had that on Sega CD, dude. We barely got into that game, my brother and I, but it's stuck out of my mind because I had that Sierra logo right up front. The Lode Runner Adventure Returns, another PC game my brother and I played all the time. But seeing like the Incredible Machine, like, dude, that blew my mind back in the day when we were playing that in the PC lab back in like elementary school. Like, that was the new thing. It's just how ubiquitous a lot of those like educational games were at the time, because they're trying to push that software out, like this new technology. Let's make the kids learn a little bit, not with their fun machines. So yeah, it just sticks out to me, dude. And like I said, just seeing the actual like genuine passion that these people have for the industry and for the product. A couple of videos that I'll post will have like, one of them is an interview that Metal Jesus Rocks does with Ken and Roberta. And you can just tell, like, Roberta, especially talking about Phantasmagoria, just how much she loved doing that, despite how difficult of a project it was.
Was that the one that came with like a DVD or VHS to watch?
I don't know if it came with the VHS. It was 7 CDs and it was a big box, but I don't remember if that came with that.
Because I swear I remember something Agoria where like they introduce you to the game by watching a movie, like. So I feel like that production level is like similar to what you're talking about.
I don't think it came with it, but someone did unearth the VHS tapes of the actual Puzzle of Flesh movie scenes and put it all in a VHS.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, someone was digitizing them. So that was a project someone was doing a couple of years ago. I don't know if it's out. Another shout out to a content creator, Early Bird. She plays a ton of like old retro horror games from multiple consoles. I watched her play through a Phantasmagoria. She does a fantastic job of writing and ripping on it on the game, but it is wild to see because genuinely partway through, she's all of a sudden like, this is really ahead of its time for what they were doing. Like, it is intense to see like they were doing something this wild with it.
Yeah.
Didn't always hit. There was some weird funk for sure with the era. I mean,
Oh.
FMV video. You remember FMV videos, man? They were, or games. They were a thing of jank in some respects. Like I remember playing Demolition Man on I think it was Neo Geo.
I thought it was
Not,
CDI.
not the Geo. It was the
Neo Geo CD.
it was Neo Geo CD. Like that was rough, dude. I wanted to love it because I loved the movie, but
It was like a rail shooter, right?
It was a rail shooter, yeah, but it had those FMV and it had Sly like put into the game. That was rough.
I'm pretty sure they just cut out like cuts of him in from the.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of Leisure Suit Larry, did you guys play those back in the day? Like I never had them. My parents wouldn't let me get a hold of them. I didn't have a friend that could get them either, but you always kind of knew about them as you're growing up. Yeah. And obviously hindsight, I know of them now, but did you play them back in the day? James, you talked about being fun.
There was that Lounge Lizards, Land of the Lounge Lizards? That's the second one, I think. And that's the one I played. Yeah, and I definitely wasn't allowed to play it. I can't remember where I was playing it. I think I had a buddy, and it was really nice. It was really nice to have him around because he was the guy that like got you everything. He's like, "Oh, you want to get that game for PC? I got you, bro." And you're like, "How did you get this? How did you?" And he never tells you.
Trade
like,
secrets.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, whatever. All he does is give me a blank CD. That's all he says. I'm like, all right, I got you. That's I do remember playing Leisure Suit Larry way back.
Yeah,
definitely played on my buddy's. And it was just like King's Quest, a point and click adventure, right? And definitely for the more mature crowd, and yeah, that's about it. It's all I can explain about that game.
Let me share this screen. This is the box art for the 1981 released soft porn adventure. Like this was released. This game is R-rated, not suggested for minors. This was rewritten to become Leisure Suit Larry. Like what?
Really?
Different.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Al, the guy that did that, he rewrote this release, which is just it's crazy that that's where they came from, and they had fun with it again to do that. But yeah, dude, it's absolutely crazy just looking at some of these titles. I'll have to at some point just pull up that video of everyone doing the Sierra logos throughout time because it's just so much nostalgia hearing them.
Utterly wild, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll toss the script up on Discord. Definitely check it out. Share your thoughts. Share the kind of stuff that you experience with these games. It was just really, really fun to be able to talk about something that again was a formative thing in my childhood. Now, chat, I know you're here. Great to see you as always. I'm going to put up a new poll next week for the next retrospective. We ran out of titles that people have voted for, so I want to do the round of voting. Please tell your friends, get more voices in there, and we'll see what we're going to talk about next month.
I'm excited. I love these.
Yeah, get the people involved.
Get in there and vote.
Speaking of getting people involved, what do we got next, guys?
All right. Well, before we jump into some disco, because Ace is gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it.
He's gonna kill it dead as disco.
Yeah, he's gonna kill it dead. But before then, Ace, tell us a little bit more about this awesome gear that we have.
So, yeah. Before we move on, eyes on the screen, folks. This image right here is given full Jin Kazuma in Tekken 4 energy. Hood up, rain falling, lightning in the background, and the face of a man who did not show up to the family cookout to make peace with the rest of the clan. This is that I've been training in silence, I've got revenge on my mind, and somehow my hoodie still looks fresh kind of energy. And look, I'm not saying the Gamer Quotient hoodie will help you settle generational fighting game trauma. Stupid SNK bosses. But I am saying that if revenge is best served cold, you might as well stay warm with our gear. This hoodie brings that storm mode style. It's clean, it's comfortable, and it's built for those late night gaming sessions where you tell yourself, just one more match. And then suddenly the sun's coming up and your controller's asking you for hazard pay. So whether you're grinding ranked, walking through the rain like an anime protagonist, or just trying to make your fit look like it has a tragic backstory and a move list, the Gamer Quotient hoodie has you covered. Level up your fit, built for every player, comfort for every session. So
does it up my stats for aura farming?
1000%.
1000%? Hell yeah!
1000%. I mean, look at this image.
That's just science. I can tell by looking at it.
It just works. It just works. But look, don't let your wardrobe get launched into a 10-hit combo. Grab the hoodie, rep the academy, and bring a little Devil Gene drip to your everyday style. Head over to the usual spot at gamerquotient-shop.fourthwall.com, and just check out the product session. Find the Gamer Quotient Gamer hoodie, and brace yourself for a style level up, folks. That site again.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, that site again is gamerquotient-shop.fourthwall.com, and make sure you take a look for the Gamer Quotient hoodie.
Awesome, thank you, Ace. It's summertime, so I probably won't buy a hoodie anytime soon, but I do need another hoodie that doesn't have work logos.
Hey,
for those campouts.
The separation's in the preparation.
There you go. Well, speaking of preparation, you'll be covering tonight's study hall for Deadass Disco. So, first of all, let's appreciate this image because I love Nick and I's expression on this image, and it's so funny because I wanted to. I made sure we were like, "Whoa, they're doing it."
I don't know why, but the thing that comes to my mind is either one or both of y'all going, "What are those?"
Well, here's the thing: you and Oliver have been playing this game, and you guys have been dueling. You guys are literally breakdance fighting. Right?
Yes, we have been,
and in scores,
the two of us.
Yeah. So I wanted to make an image that expressed that energy that you guys have been kind of like going back and forth on scores, and Nick and I just going, "Whoa, look at these guys go!" So, but tonight, guys, I want to take this a little bit different. So, as Ace pilots the new game, and he's going to go ahead and show off his skills, we here at the Gaming Academy always want to express that we always play, in this case, fight with intention. So tonight we're going to be covering it for the first time, how to play with intention via Gaming Academy. So pay attention and make sure you have to ask questions because there's going to be a lot going on here. So Ace, you got yourself loaded up here?
Yeah, I got the other camera should be ready to go, so hopefully it'll bring the audio with it as well.
Yep, it's definitely bringing your audio in it again.
So I'll go ahead and mute that source really fast, or see if we can mute my main camera. But are we getting the music from this too?
Yep. Let me see if I can just turn down the music. Don't worry about turning down the music. I got it.
Copy.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, cool.
Now let me go ahead and make sure I got our questions up here as well, because I want to keep a good focus on that too.
For sure. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you, the driver of this game, right? Why are we playing? This is number one. Is start with your why. Why are we playing Deadass Disco tonight?
Well, simply put, we're playing this for two specific reasons. One, for the fun, because I mean, let me pop back to the main menu here. Look, this game has so much style. It is just oozing off of the screen. You can see the rain falling. You can see Charlie's silhouette in the background just grooving. Like that immediately just sets the tone for us. And every time I pull this up, it gets me nodding my head a little bit going, okay, let me let me settle into the rhythm that I need to for this particular game.
Okay.
So yeah, there's
Nick,
definitely a lot of energy to it. But we're
do you know what this game's all about, Nick?
Yeah, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks, but honestly, I haven't been able to put any time into it. So if you want to give me just like a quick rundown again, Ace, the basics on this.
So to cover the basics, you are playing as a drummer that was resurrected from the dead after 10 years to find out that your bandmates have become superpowered villains that you need to take down and put the band back together.
Fair.
That sounds like an 80s movie.
I was going to say it's like that. It reminds me a little bit of what I liked about like the Scott Pilgrim films. It kind of like a throwback to that.
Kinda, yeah.
At least as far as the setup. Now, obviously, like martial arts meets like music video is very much the vibe.
Oh, man. Okay, hold on. Pause real quick. Imagine Dead as Disco in the style of Kung Fu Hustle. That is a win, folks.
I have been craving lately watching Shaolin Soccer again, so Kung Fu Hustle might have to be added back to the list. They're doing a sequel to that, aren't they?
Yeah, Stephen Chow still writing it, I guess.
And still no follow up to Kung Pao. Sad day.
See, the only problem is we won't have the Beast. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're gonna have to like AI him or something.
No, say so.
Bring him back to life.
But to cover the second reason as far as why we're playing, just really quick tidbit, we're playing this for skill building. Because, as I've described this game numerous times, it's the Arkham games set to music. So, as you settle down to actually play this, whether you're playing the full release or the demo, you have to keep in mind timing, spacing, evasion, and reading enemy patterns. All of that is going to matter. Now, I know, Nick, you mentioned that pattern recognition ain't necessarily your strong suit, but if you can at the very least keep rhythm, then you've got a leg up.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here's the other question. I'm actually gonna pull this up here in a second. Number 2. We're going to choose a focus. I don't know if you've covered this yet. I know you're going to be playing with to increase skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask here: are we trying to? I guess like, do you want to feel? I guess like do you want to like relieve that itch for an Arkham game, or do you want to relieve that itch for a more bust a move Parappa the Rapper kind of game?
Honestly, I've definitely got that itch for more of a bust a move, Parappa the Rapper, Beat Mania style game right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is like more like light. I won't say lighthearted, like its content may not be, but I feel like the approach to this is just like, dude, I want to blow off some steam and I want to have fun in a game, not have something as serious. That's what it reads to for me when I'm first looking at it. Because I played a lot of the Beat Mania games. DJ Hero I got really into for whatever reason. I had to have my little turntable beyond Rock Band and stuff. But like I didn't get into Sifu. I know some people in chat are super into that as well. I did get into Hi-Fi Rush, which same thing. It was just something different and fun at the time, which is one of the reasons like this kind of resonated a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is refreshing. This is something that doesn't try to take itself seriously.
Now, I mean, quite literally, I know I've mentioned this before when I first got into this game, but the moment that I literally saw some gameplay of it and just heard how everything synced up to the music, I immediately saw free flow, music, and I was just like, oh, this is Oliver coding. This is so far up Oliver's alley, it should be paying rent.
And this is only on PC?
Yep, only on PC, still in early access.
Okay. Wow, it's only in early access, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could look at the screen and read. Way to go, Nick.
But hey, I mean, with as much content as is in this game and as much replayability, yeah, you gotta remind yourself and others watching that this is still early access, so there's more in the tank.
Yeah, and I think they're like taking feedback. They're looking at this from a lot of angles, And man, so far I like what I see, and that's like, it's clearly not done because I've watched your playthrough this. I watched Oliver's late night gameplay, like play with one hand challenges, right?
Right?
You know, so like there's just the presentation of this game is pretty good, and they're not even done with it yet. That's kind of what. So
Yeah, well, like, where do you think they can really realistically, having played it as much as you have, where do you think they can go from here? Like, do they have they given any kind of like roadmap of what their plan is for content, or does it?
There is a roadmap for content. I'm actually going to need to double check that myself. But one thing they are actually planning on adding is multiplayer.
Oh, nice.
So,
I'll look at the roadmap so you don't have to. It's just kind of an interesting thing to talk about, especially as you're talking about like approaching with intention. Like, what am I going to get time wise out of this game? Because jumping into early access is always a little iffy, at least with some of the products that are out there. But then you see things.
It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice, but then you see companies that are like earnestly responding to feedback, like what happened with Baldur's Gate 3 being in, designed for so long and getting feedback for so long. We saw what the final product of that was, which is crazy to think we released that long ago.
Honestly, like I haven't dug deep into it, right? But my first thing is like maybe customize movesets, like turn it into God Hand, because like I imagine like if you were able to give him a capoeira style and put some Brazilian music in, like that's the stuff I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly. But like you get
my emotions like that, man.
Yeah, but being able to change your fighting style with the music would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be something incredibly cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see that it has so many features already. I pulled up the early access road map on here. So 2027 planned launch. They're doing a bunch of stuff during summer festivals, but it looks like we're getting like co-op multiplayer, more music, boss skill abilities, new enemies, new arenas. Yeah, they've got a lot of just content still looking to go on it, which if it's already looking like this and they're still like eyeballing releasing sometime next year, like I can only imagine what else they're going to get out of this.
Yeah. No, it's and the fact that you can already add custom music, I feel like that would have been something added later on, but they have it now. Like that's so cool.
They had it in the demo. And quick heads up for folks that don't have the scratch to pay for it right now, grab the demo, take a quick peek at the first stage that they have, play through the infinite disco mode, and whatever music that you add in the demo is going to carry over when you purchase the game.
That's really cool to see. I know that was something that I love the Forza Horizon games in part because of the music soundtrack. I pick up a bunch of new music every time a new release comes out, add to my Spotify playlist. But you can actually, in that game as well, connect your Spotify to the game and stream your own music. Because lo and behold, they didn't include any Eurobeat for me to drift to. So I have to pull up my Initial D playlist for I used to play in the store when I worked there, just so I can listen to it while I'm racing around Japan. That is a travesty in itself.
But you can stream it through the car radio.
Yeah. You can at least connect it up and make it seem like you're still living there in spirit. So the fact you can kind of like have custom music brought in there too, like I love that kind of freedom. Again, having the soundtracks in there and seeing like the vision that the developers have, great. But if I can actually add a little of my own music without like a bunch of workarounds or feeling like I'm jailbreaking the game, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's once you fire up like a beginning stage, and I'll ask you the next question.
Will do. But yeah, to kind of sum up though what we're looking at here, and another great way to describe this game, this isn't just a beat 'em up. This is beat management.
Beautiful. Beat management up. Got it. So here's the thing, right? When I heard about this game, not really seen it, right? Not really watched it, experienced it. And heck, I haven't even experienced it yet, but I've definitely watched a lot of it. But when I first heard about it, it has Arkham combat to it, right? With soundtrack. like yeah. And so question number 3. It brings us to question number 3, which is play by feel, not FOMO. And what that means, chat, when you're playing with intention, it's simply asking you, what game match do you want to play tonight? What are you feeling to play tonight? So with that said, Ace, for our pillar number 3, if you're what kind of mood would you be feeling to pick up Dead as Disco?
I'd say the kind of feeling that you want when you pick the kind of headspace that you want to be in when you pick this up is if you want to be able to just do more than just sit down and listen to your music. It's one thing to just fire up Winamp or Windows Media Player, or turn on your MP3 player and just sit and groove for a little bit. But it's another thing if you want to get up and move while having those tunes playing to help influence how and where you go.
Well, I'm gonna pull a Morpheus and I'm gonna say, show me.
Will do. So, for the folks that are actually looking at perhaps picking up the demo, Hemlock is the story stage that's available. So, each of the stages are basically named after the band members or the bosses that you'll be taking on. So, I'll just go ahead and pull this up. Brace yourselves. There's going to be plenty of spectacle. There's going to be some amazing music. While this is copyrighted music, it is also, there are also multiple remixes for the game that are set to different portions of the stage. So we'll keep that in mind as well.
And I believe they do have like a streamer mode just for safety reasons, right?
They do have a streamer mode for safety reasons, yeah.
Sweet.
Now, also one other thing that's going to be added to one other thing that's actually on the roadmap is, an extra difficulty level, the intense difficulty. So right now, what we currently have access to is chill, which is, more relaxed combat where we can just, feel like we can vibe to the music. But aside from vibing to the music, I do want to get my heart rate up a little bit, because I'm also playing to, knock the rust off, make sure that my skills are still polished. So I want to go for Amped, which is, the standard difficulty. Now, see, I'm currently having problems with drift on my controller, so bear with me, folks.
Can't use D-pad?
Now, the D-pad's got other functions in combat, so that's something to keep an eye out. But yeah, for amp difficulty, this is the basic difficulty that comes with the game. We've got a checkpoint at the start of the boss, and healing, and we can heal just through level pickups. But
Is that old Charlie Disco?
now, another thing that's great about this is that just looking at the game, the overall visual signature, it very much has a sort of you would be forgiven if you thought Suda 51 had a hand in this.
Little late to the party, aren't you, mate?
Always thought you'd die before selling out.
Say what you like. I traded your song for real power. Nothing fuels this train now. Anything that gets in my way.
All right, Tyler Kirkland 2045 on YouTube asks, Hemlock stage is my favorite stage. Honestly, I love the punkiness with the flash dance music.
Yeah. A combination that you would not have expected to go together as well as it does, but you'll see.
All that power, bet you still can't write a song to
Look at the swag. Look at that popped collar, my guy.
Yeah.
I mean, his name is Charlie Disco.
I'm Charlie Disco.
It's like Disco Stew's younger, cooler cousin.
It's just anime Disco Stew.
They put him in an AI filter. Disco Stew. Make him more anime.
And we get
Make him
Charlie.
cooler.
All right, so here we go. Let's roll.
James, you got a little bit of volume on the music.
Turn it up.
Just a little bit. Okay. Just hearing the beats and stuff hit. That's one of the things I loved about watching them play earlier.
I think like right now, from what I'm seeing, what they need to incorporate is like maybe some sort of like Winamp like meter that goes up and down, something like that, like as a visual.
Did you just invoke Winamp?
Yep, Winamp. It kicks the llama's ass.
How many hours did we spend like just messing with the skins for that?
Plenty.
Too many,
man. And I think later on they started doing that with like Windows Media Player also.
Yeah, a little bit. I mostly changed the visualizations, but man, the skins, dude.
Oh my gosh!
Chad, if you have no idea what we're talking about, you may be too young for the stream.
I always had anime like digital pixel skins. It was awesome.
Now, you kept making lots of mentions about trains.
Oh yeah, you guys had showed this before. At least I remember Oliver talking about this stage too.
Mm-hmm. No, it's surprisingly like, and here's the thing. Let me ask you this technical question, Ace. So, clearly there's a rhythm and a beat to when you're whooping butt, right? So, depending on like which portions of the song, does your character create a different like animation?
Yeah, different animations and like a different tempo for his combos. Because sometimes he actually strikes in double time when you're doing like the finishers.
Yeah.
Or when you're doing the rush attack.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I see he has the drumsticks out.
Yep.
Okay. Watching this game just reminds me of that one skit, or not skit, but it was like it's Dave Chappelle's stand-up, right? He was like something along the lines of nobody wants to get their ass beat with a soundtrack, and this is exactly what it is. Oh yeah, I can like yeah, you literally feel the rhythm, like, you can hear it. Right?
And of course, the intro scenes for the bosses.
Yeah, see this stuff right here. This is the stuff that's like really fun.
I'm gonna split you down the middle! Charlie's got some boy.
What would be cool, and I don't know if it's happened yet because we don't have amp difficulty yet, or the last one, intense, right? Is they change the songs a little bit, like alter them a little bit. So that'd be interesting.
On Discord, I found the Winamp Skin Museum.
Yeah,
has over 100,000 Winamp skins, and they're all interactable. Like, my God.
that's a trip to memory.
I found some Animu ones that you were talking about, James. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was all about that back then. All about that. when Jago says when he gets his new computer, Winamp's going in it.
Oh
Yeah, first thing that's being installed right after Chrome, right? Chrome, Winamp, skins.
Yep.
Ooh.
Does anyone else pack up their gaming stuff for the computer last and then unpack it first, or is that just me?
Can we say that again?
When I move or anything, or I have to pack up.
Oh, I see.
PC gaming gets packed up last and then unpacked first whenever I move.
I feel like last because like you still want to have access to it while you're moving. If you're not gonna like do it all one day, you know. If you live and like thrive on your computer.
So yes. I'm just loving how locked in Ace is.
Yeah.
We're talking
That's
about
what you
Winamp
gotta
and
be.
stuff. He's like, dude, Hemlock going down.
That's what you got to be. I got another question for him as soon as he beats down Hemlock over here. So yeah, so we've covered 3 questions so far, right? So playing with intention. The first one is, why are you playing the game that you're playing tonight, guys? Like when you go home this Friday and you're like, hey, I want to turn on a game. Why am I playing this game? And for what reason? Are you doing it for a challenge? Are you doing it for skill building? Do you just want to like turn your brain off, like what Nick was saying? Like you load up Dead as Disco and be like, you know what? I just kind of want to vibe, right? Nothing too crazy. So ask yourself, why are you playing this game? Now, number 2, I would say choose a focus. Since you are playing this game, what are you looking to get out of it right now? Right now, are you looking for maybe like a beat 'em up? Are you looking for more like you want an aesthetically pleasing game, or even a narrative game like that? You just want to learn a little bit more of a story. Now, some people play video games versus watch movies, right? Those very narrative intensive video games as well. And our recent question was also play by feel. Number 3, play by feel, not FOMO, meaning that, hey, I know it's like the brand new shiny game out there tonight. Are you pressured to play it because it's brand new? Or are you just, do you actually want to play that game? Now, for me, this question is actually really interesting because when a fighting game comes out, I want to play it night 1 because that's when people are learning the fighting
Here we
game
go.
and not everybody's busted yet, right? Hit him with the X. Anime. But yeah, so I mean, with that said, like number 4, it's kind of funny that you finished it right in time. Number 4 question is set small win conditions when you play this game. Now I'm loading up Dead as Disco. I want to play because I want to chill. I want to vibe with the music, right? I just kind of want to just like taking the scenery, the stylish design, and of course the sound effects, right? But tonight when you're sitting down and playing, what is your goal for tonight? Like, do you only have 30 minutes to play? Do you want to just clear the first boss? What's your intention?
Yep. And as far as that goes, as far as I guess setting win conditions for your gaming session, it's great because I feel like that's actually a really good way to help manage and protect your time. And I'm all about making sure that my time ain't wasted. So at the very least for tonight, I had a couple of goals in mind. One was, getting in a decent boss attempt, not just to show off what's available in the demo for folks that decide to pick this up, but also to kind of analyze and really take a look at how I handle under pressure and how the rhythm of the game itself changes under pressure, like how you have to keep an eye out for not just your own rhythm and your own cadence, but also how the enemies are coming in and either matching pace with you or trying to catch you on offbeats to almost force panic inputs.
It's funny. This question might be difficult for some, right? But I think you're looking at the overarching. I just want to finish this game. I want to beat it. That's the big goal. We're talking a small win. Maybe this run. What do you plan on accomplishing, right? So I'll tell you exactly for my answer to this. I was playing Absalom with Carl. I love Carl, by the way. Right? He throws hands.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure we're the same height, also. But anyway. What I'm getting at here is one of my small win conditions for myself, chat, was literally always going the lower path. No matter when the path splits, I'll always take the lower one. Now, what category does that fall under? I would say exploration, right? Because I want to see what only going down the lower path always takes me, and where that takes me in the game. Then the next one, when I'm done with that, I'll take it always the higher path, right? That's me setting small goals each time I load up the game. So, and that's what we mean by that. You don't have to beat the game. It's just like an action or a thing that you want to do in the game, which is like a win condition for you, right? In this case, I would say, Ace, you're kind of I'm not, like an expert at this game. All right, you and Oliver clearly have high scores. What do you think a small win condition would be if you and Oliver competing for the best score in a stage?
Well, I mean, getting that high score and either, beating or, for like a specific win condition, I want to get within 1,000 points. If I can get within,
like you want to get like just over 1,000 points from his last score, or within 1,000 points from his last score?
Oh, over 1,000 would be preferred, but
Okay.
I want to at the very least get within 1,000 on, within 1,000 points in, let's say, my first 3 attempts. Right.
Yeah.
First attempt is to knock off the rust, get accustomed to the song. Second attempt is to find and refine my rhythm and analyze where I'm starting to panic or where it seems like I'm flailing.
Mhm.
And then the third is moment of truth. Once I've got everything refined, this is decision time. This is now that I've got everything lined up, let's go ahead and start actually trying to aim for that score, aim for that threshold.
Okay. So yeah, gaming could be a series of small little wins, right? You know what they say about winning a war. You got to win small battles or along the way. So don't pressure yourself, chat. Don't pressure yourself, stream. Just choose your small battles, and these are your choices. By the way, you can choose your own wins as well.
And that's why games have checkpoints.
Mm-hmm. It's true. All right. Well, I would say my favorite stage, and I think you should show Nick, is Prophet stage.
Ooh.
So there's a lot to
yes, man.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the most impressive. I think visually, not what do you call that? Is it Dex? Dex has the most impressive like transitions in the stages. It even has Nick. It even has a reference to the one, my brother.
Hey,
I don't know.
I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters with my best friend at the time. I think it was either before or actually it might have been right after we took our SATs. His mom took us out to dinner in a movie theater, like dropped us off, and we went and watched the one. I bought that on DVD because of that experience. I can't say it was the best movie ever made, but man, I love it.
It's pretty sweet for what it is, but you're right. It's not a very good movie.
Yeah, especially with the benefit of hindsight and going back and like, oh, this was of the era.
Yeah, definitely of the era. Even buying the DVD made it feel like it was of the era. For sure. Now, with that said, Ace, you just beat Hemlock, right? So number 5 on our playing with intention is reflect and adjust. So you just defeated the first boss, right, of the game, right? Now you ask yourself this: when you first played this game, right? When you first played it, I know you played it quite some time now. What did you kind of like feel after like you beat that first boss and Dead as Disco?
It was a rush, like not just the accomplishment of actually making it through the boss, but also how the music tied everything together and how I felt myself adjusting to the flow of the combat and adjusting to the rhythm of the music. It just from that first playthrough, it legitimately changed how I've been listening to even my own music that I downloaded recently. Because it's like, okay, how would this flow in a stage in Dead as Disco, or what kind of boss would I be fighting to this music?
Yeah, it's a good reflection. Immediately, my brain is like, you know what? This feels like Monster Rancher, because I can put any song and it's gonna be a different experience. I'm assuming it's 1990 and you need a CD for the songs, right?
Right.
But it kind of has that same vibe. It's
Don't
just
put it
really
in your Walkman;
cool.
it'll skip.
Yeah, it's just really cool to have that feeling again. Glad these guys have brought it back. So with that said, just let's pop in Profit here and let's check it out.
Yeah.
And then we'll cover number 6 here in a bit.
I couldn't. There was like this itch that I couldn't reach, kind of thing to scratch when I'm looking at the visuals for this. I was trying to think of the game cover art it reminded me of. It reminded me of Never Dead.
Yeah, we talked about
Just the character, and then like looking at this, obviously not like the game. The game is not like the cover.
It's like
no, but I remember the cover for Never Dead, and
isn't it like a solo yellow background or something?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, especially as I'm looking at this, one of my biggest concerns, it's just like, is it going to be too self-referential and tongue-in-cheek, and is it going to not? I don't want to use the word cringe, but you know what I mean. Like, it comes across as just like too try-hard when you're playing through it, but it doesn't seem to have that failure as people are playing it. As I'm like looking at videos and stuff.
No,
I think. Go ahead, Ace.
I was about to say it definitely toes that line between referential and on the, directly on the nose. It toes that line with amazing it toes it with amazing agility, frankly, because again, you've got songs that are actual licensed songs like Maniac, and Maniac is the big one, but then you've also got the original tracks in the game, which are excellent songs on their own, and the different references that you find with each of the characters and with each of their different styles. It's like you can make the connection, but at the same time, it's not beating you over the head with it.
Good.
Well,
cool.
I also think like as more collectibles, costumes, you can really pair that up with whatever song you want to upload. Like the fact that you can upload custom music, like you can just enjoy this game thoroughly. I've already seen Deadpool dancing in the game, or Michael Jackson. Like I've seen them already. Like it's super cool, So I can only imagine what they have in store because this is just early access.
Right. So yeah, let's go ahead and fire up.
You remember this place? Or is your brain wormfold?
Got him.
Starting to fill in the holes.
That's what she said.
A lot of destinies foretold on this street.
If you wanted to stand out, you had to battle before the Prophet. Now you're just another one of
Brother, this is what Def Jam should be next. I'm telling you.
When did you sell out?
You lost faith long before me, child.
Me? I was dead.
You think you can lie to me? From outcast to topping the charts in a month. You sold your soul. Bet you didn't check the price.
That's not how I remember it. Maybe you've forgotten how we were better together.
You've been in the dark 10 long years, child. I'll show you the light.
I'd be totally down if this was Busta Rhymes, just to let you know.
Right. Rhymes are Method Man?
Yeah. Or just, Boss Fight Method in Red.
Mission. Me and my boys way off right now. It's time we made a difference. Said there's blood in the water. I hope you deal with women. We turn 2 hits into 2 deaths. Do you know the difference? Listen. Kill was running the show. He goes to the beat of track. We got big toys for the big boys that come with tech. No regrets. Shoot him up close. I ain't missing a step. Said it once, I won't say it again. This go dead. I've been living in a brand new season. Level up, shit is like 4 seasons. Back of us out, we don't need no reasons. Matter of fact, we still have demons. Tell me, do we stand for treason? Back to the ball, my blood's been freezing. Straight to the throne, the boys been reaching. Hey, carry the course, I'm the one who was started. This is why I'm back now, I'm back in the show. I'm back on the top, and I'm the artist. You know who you talking about. If they go, no, they can't make no argument. We making waves.
Look at the lyrics, fellas.
Yeah, I was just noticing that.
Yeah, the presentation's super cool.
Yeah.
got brand new mission. Me and my boys way up right now. That's how we made a difference. Said that blood in the water. I hope you feel this with it. We took 2 steps to the 3 steps. You know the difference? Listen. Get the boys running the set. Get boys to the beat. We got big toys for the big boys.
I think the extra level of like fun for this game would like if they gave Charlie basically like an outfit that matches the theme of the song. If he,
Well, I mean, yeah, they're having more outfits come out, so you probably could do that on your own kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that would have been cool if it was like a forethought.
correct, yeah. Like he's just in the hip hop world, you know, rock world, stuff like that. Little Kingdom Hearts action, you know.
I'm just going to be uploading Final Fantasy battle music.
Do it.
Battle on Big Bridge.
Do it.
Incoming.
Oh, big boy.
I'm curious how they would make this multiplayer.
Combo attacks. Timing your combo attacks would be pretty cool. Not split screen, right? They just had online co-op.
Yeah, like Arkham Knight style.
Maybe potentially like combo fight attacks where each person takes a turn, like it shifts to the other screen,
Yeah,
and then the other person has to hit their combos and back to you.
yeah. Basically, bust the groove,
Yeah.
but co-op.
So I'm assuming with the trigger over there's different colors on attacks. What are those?
Those are actually different special moves that you can learn from each of the bosses.
Nice.
You get beat up in the lyrics.
Right?
Look at this. This is
This.
so cool. There's like quality in here. Like this is good.
This reminds me a little bit of like Salvatore Ganacci.
Yeah,
His like music videos, that little
Exactly.
like cutout.
exactly. And another thing they can do is like have you know how like in Batman they have multiple takedowns on different characters.
Yeah.
That could be something that could add it later.
He was just taking those punches to the gut.
It's that Timberland jacket.
Yes, that's taking up most of the hits.
It's padded.
It's like that tickles.
Baby punches.
Need some Run the Jewels playing right now after watching this.
Right? Or little Tech 9.
Yes, you have to parry that.
So you do it on the streets.
Parry them lyrics.
Kind of reminds me as well with just that arm of his. It kind of reminds me of Dexter, the fixer from Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's the yellow in the game. There's a lot. It's very strong. He's taking those punches.
Yo.
Quit. You got something to prove.
There's so many phases too.
Don't worry, gang. This will be over in a snap.
Got that Thanos gauntlet for a hand.
Yeah.
That's actually the special you get from him.
Well, now he's throwing his ride at you.
You ain't coming for the profit. You felt that one, huh?
Cool. Oh, that was cheap.
Do you feel that your Muso fighters prepared you for this moment?
Honestly,
Can't stop my vision like that.
No, my Trans Am.
that one got me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the thing, right?
You
So
lost to Hobo Jackson.
I think it's Oliver.
That's all.
Oliver, even when he can't be here, still teaching us a thing or two.
Yep.
See, I think that's great because like that leaderboard right there makes you want to be like, how did you get 87,000?
That's exactly the question that kept coming up. Every time I would look up and see one of these scores, either on the story missions or the challenges, I'd go,
Yeah.
how do you pull that?
There was a game. I think I was playing NFS Rivals, right? Need for Speed Rivals, and in that game you can race against your friend's ghosts, and then the ghosts are like whatever their time trial is. Like if, for example, Oliver was playing it, I would see his number 1 speed as a ghost in my map, right? And I remember I got like 45 seconds more than my buddy, not milliseconds. 45 seconds because of a bug. Like a car had hit me forward and made me like go 3 times as fast. Right? And he was like, How did you get this time on the stage? It's impossible. I'm like, I'm just good, bro. I'm just good. You don't know? I never told him that it was a bug.
Man, after you're playing this, I might have to have you for one of your top 5s do top 5 beat-based video games.
Okay, there we go. We got a lot of lists that we've been kind of talking about, so that's pretty cool.
Because there's some amazing games out there. I mean, this one could definitely be included on it. People, I know in chat they're talking about Crypt of the Necrodancer as well. I remember when that one came out.
Yep.
Tyler Kirkland 2045 said it's got some real fun references, like Vice saying Hemlock signed up at the very machine he raged against. There you go. You know, we love these references. All right, Ace, I want to ask you number six, guys. I think this is very important because we live in a time in society where, you know, we don't have a lot of time.
Live in a time.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. So what are we going to do to protect your time when playing with intention? And what do I mean by this? Right? I mean, is this a game when you play? This is the last question for playing with intention. When you play this, and you know you've kind of played already 2 bosses. Like let's just say you just started playing. Is this worth your time? Is this something that you want to spend hours of your time with?
Absolutely.
And tell us why.
Like I feel like this is not only something that I want to spend hours of my time with, even knowing that, once the show's over, I'm going to need to get ready to go to bed so I can go to work tomorrow. But I see how close I got to the final section of the fight with the Prophet, and I'm like, I want to go again. I want to go again, because even as I was taking those hits, it wasn't really that I had to try to understand, where I might have slipped up or, what I could have done different to not just improve my score, but my, chances of making it through the fight. It's not something that I had to go out of my way to do. It just clicked into place. Everything it fell into a rhythm. And
you're liking it.
Right, and even recognizing it as a rhythm, it's that light bulb moment where you're going, aha. Yeah. So rhythm is what this game is about. Not just the rhythm of the music, but how it draws you into said rhythm.
Okay. Love it. Let's bring it all together. All right, let's bring it all together. Number one, start with your why. Why, Ace?
Why? Because I wanted to enjoy some music and I wanted to be more active while listening to it.
Okay. And what was one of your focuses when unloading this game up? Number two.
One of my focuses was, knocking off the rust, sharpening my skills, and just re-experiencing some of the great moments that I've had with this game over the course of my time with it, not just in the full release, but also in the demo.
Okay. And then number three, playing by feel, not FOMO. I know this could kind of go hand in hand. So tell us your experience with this. Did you want to play this when it first came out? And if you did, what did you feel?
I definitely did want to play this when it first came out. It had been on my radar for a while, but I kind of set it off to the side. But seeing the gameplay, that got me immediately hooked. And as soon as I saw that the demo was out, I hollered at Oliver, and then I downloaded it for myself. And the feeling that I got then was just this euphoria of playing a game that's not ashamed of what it is. And I still feel that even to this day, weeks, month, at least, a good month or so since it first dropped.
Who's the dev for this?
Brain in a Jar Games.
You hear that, Brain in a Jar Games? Euphoria of playing your game. Euphoria. All right, brings us to number four. What were some small win condition you had yourself when playing the game so far?
So far, at the very least for this session, I wanted to make it through at least one boss fight. And if we've got a couple minutes, I would like to show off the Infinite Disco so I can show off, what it would look like once you start uploading some of your own music to the game as well.
We'll get to that. Number five, tell us a little bit about your reflection and, of the game. What did you learn from said game, and also what have you done to make some changes? So, for example, what were some challenges you were experiencing? What are some of these adjustments?
So, as I was trying to just de-rust and hone and sharpen my skill at this game, I noticed that I still am having some issues where I'm flailing to try and keep up with the beat instead of using my mobility, like with the evasion, to cover distance. But I'm still learning to tighten up my inputs, not only to match the beat, but to make sure I'm properly spacing and laying out my attack vectors for strikes.
Okay. I mean, you could definitely throw down a tech for this game, right? When it gets full release, that's absolutely a thing that you can do for the chat. And also, lastly, this game right here, right? It sounds like you've already know how to protect your time with this game, but how would you tell us or share with us? I guess what you would think of how you would protect your time with this game or games in the future.
Right. Well, with this game in particular, one way I would definitely say to protect your time is, take it one stage or one song at a time. Even if that song is you uploading something to Infinite Disco to practice and, warm yourself up for trying to tackle the story stages.
Okay. You said the magic word. Upload your own song to play and practice. Show us how this is done.
Will do. So the first thing I did with the demo once I got into it was, as soon as I saw that the option was even there, I went in and decided I want to upload some of my own music. So we're going to pop over here to the Infinite Disco stage. Now, in Infinite Disco, not only are there different challenges that are set there in the game, so that way you can, take a look through some of the songs, but there's also free play, which allows you to not only play through songs that you've unlocked, but also, as we make our way down the list, put your own stuff in. Like a personal favorite.
That's a good song to fight with.
Oh yeah. And one thing I wound up finding out was that there are actually some songs that I've downloaded that actually work really well for helping you get acclimated to the game. For everyone, the particular track for you is going to be different. But for me, there's two of them. One,
Hey, Malubu.
of course. But no, one of them is Ain't That Funny from Mad World, but the other one is this 26th anniversary tribute cover of Rock Howard's theme.
Seems appropriate. Was that like a black hole? It's crazy. I mean, I see like infinite fun here. If this is like your thing, I'm just curious on like what peaks and valleys does the game look at for the AI to attack you? Like that's
It's
like a
funny
programming
you should
thing.
mention that, because let me go back to the song list, because what you can do is edit the track.
Oh, really?
So not just edit the information that it reads as far as the song name and everything, but also the tempo. And when you go into the advanced editor,
Oh,
yeah. you can literally read the sound. Like it's almost like opening up and uploading a file to Audacity.
Yeah, this is like sound engineer heaven.
Yeah. And the little purple bars that you see right here on the screen, that's the tempo. That's those are the beats. And you can do that. And you can do that either by typing in like the tempo listing up here. That's literally the number of beats per minute. Or you can go to calibrate and literally tap the button along to the beat. So, like this song, as you hear just that sort of cadence, that rhythm, if you can tap the button to the beat, then you can calibrate the track to the appropriate beats per minute, and it will actually calculate that, after a 16 count. So let me pop out of here. Let me go to a different song just so that way I can show you all what I'm talking about, because I don't want to change up my list. So go here. Take a look at Rigid Matrix. And then just to test calibration. And then that right there is how you set the beat.
Huh. Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when you're having to time your band hero setup and your DJ hero setup to your TV, because all the different refresh rates.
Yeah, same sort of thing.
No,
It's frustrating because you keep saying to your friends, like, "No, I swear, man, it's just the timing's off."
This is like high level like music stuff.
Yeah, I can already tell that's going to be over my head, and I'm probably going to blame that a few times when I end up playing this.
Right. So
Well,
that's exciting.
couple of quick tips. One, you can set the start time so that way, if you know where you want to start the song, then you can shift everything forward, and then again, literally just tap to the beat. If you can tap to the beat, then again, you're already going to be off to a good start. Now, where was I?
So here's a question for chat or for you, Ace. Is like, do you have to have good rhythm to be good at this game? What if you're good at Arkham, but you just don't know how to dance?
Then I would say still give the game a shot, because it's not going to necessarily penalize you for being offbeat. Because I mean, I've had plenty of times where I've decided to just sit down and just try to play at what would be my normal pace as far as just throwing out attacks and evasions and everything, and I can still get distance. But there is definitely something to be said for when you're actually playing on beat.
So it's not a mashing game. You can't win by mashing in this game.
You can't win by mashing, but you can get pretty far.
Okay, you can get pretty far. But the goal is to eventually just play in rhythm.
Yep.
Does the game teach you that? I didn't really see a tutorial.
It does teach you that, and also there's actually one other setting that I want to show as well.
I'm starting to get a bunch of fighting games after looking this up being suggested to me.
There's a beat indicator.
Okay.
So, like, if you go ahead and decide to turn that on, then
Nice. German.
hold on, I don't think it saved the setting. Oh God.
Oh, you switched the language.
Oh.
At least song list is easy to find out.
There you go. Zurich. Text scratched.
Ein Haus.
There we go. So let's make sure that the beat indicator is actually turned on here.
Okay, where is the beat indicator when you go back?
You'll see it right down there in the bottom center of the screen.
Oh, okay, I see. The skull.
Yep.
Okay, so that's your Guitar Hero. Man, that is a lot to track if you're new to the game, that's for sure.
But that's what Infinite Disco's for.
Sweet.
This
Is Infinite
your
Disco basically training, or is it different?
Yep.
Excellent. Excelente. All right. Well, let's close this up with a discussion about D with Dad, right?
Yep. Which is another way that this game is all over coded.
All right. Well, there's clearly different grades of experience in this game. Nick just, Nick just found out about it. Not found out about it tonight, but saw a little bit of it. I've been tracking it a little bit on your gameplays and your streams, and then Ace, you've been playing this for a while now, or at least early access. I guess what's everyone's verdict on this thing? And it's just interesting because we're all coming from different perspectives, which is perfect. I'll get start with you, Wes.
Well, my verdict, honestly, under normal circumstances, I would not as far as my own personal rating for Game of the Year. I normally wouldn't put early access titles in it because they're not finished. But this one I would definitely put up there.
Why? I'm curious.
Like,
What made it stand out amongst all the other early access? You're like, I'm down with this one.
I think honestly, what made it stand out is that even with what's available, it's like there's still enough content in it to where it feels like it has that level of completion that Hades did when I first got into it while that was still in early access. Like Hades had set the bar as far as, a robust and as complete as possible early access title as I could find. And Deadest Disco matched that bar easily.
Is that your final verdict on it?
Yep.
So yes, thumbs up.
Yes, that my verdict on it is insert coin.
Nice. We're not doing that tonight, but that's a good one. That's a good one. I would say from what I've watched, like, yeah, I could play the demo, but I don't think I need to buy it right now. Right? Like, because I feel like I've already won. I already saw all the content from you guys. You guys play it a lot, right? And you guys show a good time, and that's all that matters, right? And I think what's important here is if you decide to buy into the early access, you want to make your voice heard. Just be like, I feel like this part could be better. I suggest this, right? You need to be very vocal with it. That's the intention of early access for me, at least, right?
And you'll notice on that main menu screen, there is a feedback link.
Good. And I think that like from my perspective, from the person that's watched it a lot and has interest in that kind of game, demo is great. The fact that they have it, that's awesome. But after the demo, I feel like I don't need to put the money down at the moment, right? Of course, I feel like you have more of a responsibility to make this game better than I do because you already put your money down. You've invested in it already, right? But for me, it's gonna be a wait for continue, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's actually right up my alley. I like this kind of game, right? But here's the thing, though. I'm gonna go back to protect my time. I think I can play other games on my backlog before I put the money down on this game. Now, I'm talking about this specifically on purchasing it, not playing the demo, right?
Right. And to be fair, that was where I was when I first started hearing about it. The game looks cool, but I've got my backlog, and I don't necessarily have I'm not necessarily financially liquid all the time. So at first I thought, okay, I can hold off on buying it. But then after seeing the gameplay, sitting down and playing the demo, it's like, you convinced me.
Yeah. Cool. Nick, thoughts?
I'm in the same place you are, James. It's one of those things that great for people who want to get in this game early and give their feedback. I'm always going to be a big proponent of that, sharing your feedback, getting involved in the process. After working with my time at Xbox Research, like, I've seen how important that is, and it's definitely important. I think that feedback loop needs to happen. It's not a game that I'll probably end up buying for myself. I do like a lot of beat-based games, but patterns and stuff already, I see it's going to be a problem for me. There's not enough depth there for me to get much more out of it. And looking at the roadmap and stuff, I just don't think it's going to be content that I'm going to be like, I'm buying this kind of thing. I'll watch people play. I think it's visually very appealing. I love the idea. I like listening to the music, but it's something that when I'm looking at what time I have, like you said, being very careful with your time and money and what we do have, like, it just doesn't fit into what I'm looking to do with my gaming. Something I'll throw in the background, absolutely support them as best I can, support you guys making content around it. It's not something I feel, even looking at the release, that it feels like it's worth it to me. That's just me though, right? When it comes to the full release, when it comes to updates after the release, it could be something I could easily jump in on, but it's just like, yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to experience, but it's not something I'm going to jump into. It's kind of the same with Sifu. I liked watching it. They had a lot of crossover with other things I have interest in, but I know myself and the way that I game and what I get out of games and what frustrates me like
Yeah.
especially with pattern based stuff. I just lose.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have the patience to put in that much work for it. So I just know it's not exactly for me, but it's awesome that it's out there, and I think it's a cool product.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. For the record, chat, I bought Seafood 3 times to support the developer. So, if you really want to support something, you'll do whatever you want to.
Absolutely.
But here's
I
the thing,
subscribed to a Patreon longer than I probably should have for a couple of
right?
creators.
So, and you know, and your money's your money. You know, if you want to support, you support. That's fantastic. That's really how you show it. You show
I
them.
have
You know,
I
the
so
back end.
many Yakuza games.
You know, yeah, exactly. So, and I'm glad that, you know, like, this is why it's very, for Ace to break his rule that he doesn't normally do early access. Like, this is impressive. Like, this, you had to create something outstanding, right, to get his attention and his money and his time. So, you know, shout out to the developer on that, with that. All right. Well, I mean, any last takeaways from tonight's study hall for Dead as Disco retrospective, anything like that, right?
I'm like, as far as the retrospective, there is still just so much that was mentioned in regards to Sierra that still just completely blows my mind. I am going to continually go back to that 19 billion figure, man. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's wild. Like I said, there was so much that I could have covered with that one, but there's so many content creators out there or stuff that's coming along that I think covers it better. I think if I remember it, Ken Williams wrote a kind of a memoir slash his own kind of feelings about everything that happened at Sierra. The little excerpts I read from that was really cool. He was pretty straightforward and humble about it, not in like a self-serving way that some memoirs can kind of feel to be. It's definitely interesting. Like I said, I'm going to throw up some links. Definitely check it out. There's a huge, same as the interplay thing, man. When we did that retrospective, there's so much information that I couldn't even dive into. Everyone had a game that they grew up playing that's into this, industry and passion that one of these companies had touched. And you don't realize it till like you look at some of the stuff that happened to these companies. You're like, holy shit, dude, I had no idea any of this stuff happened. Just one day they were gone. I didn't know, being young little Nick, that, the company that bought them was doing massive fraud. Like, damn. and just think, like I said, man, that company was trying to sell Sierra on, hey, we're going to build this thing where we're going to get companies like Barterbund and LucasArts and potentially holdings like Blizzard. Like, just imagine what would have happened if all of that came to be, much less them buying id and what would have happened to Doom and all that stuff. Like, oh my God.
Yeah,
Bullet dodge for one company, but just
the
diverging
multiverse would have diverged. Who knows? Sega would have been the powerhouse that it is. It's destined to be. So we don't know, and I think this is why it's cool that we cover and go back and look at the stuff, and also it helps me appreciate what we had. Honestly, like, just watching that retrospective, man. Like I said, the biggest thing I took away from it was, man, I was in an era where when online was a total luxury. It wasn't, not everybody had access to it. Like, you were just locked in the game in front of you. There was no Google, no YouTube to look at what to do next. Gaming was the Wild West back then. You're on your own, right? And I think that's something that a lot of this generation of gamers will never experience unless they have total self-control.
Yeah. It's weird to think too, because with how much we've seen happen with technology and how things grow, there's not a lot of like unknown frontiers, it feels like, anymore when it comes to gaming. Back then, like you said, Wild West, they were discovering things. They were building technologies to service their games.
Nintendo Power.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. But then you think about, it kind of feels like we lost that spirit. It feels like a lot of trend chasing, especially in these last couple generations, especially this generation, with a lot of like these games as a service things, like trying to chase the big thing to the point that because dev cycles have gotten so long, you're already obsolete the moment you launch your game, unless you've got something completely different that blows up the scene, right? So it's tougher and tougher, it feels like. And that's why I think there's such a nostalgia for those older days where it just feels so, I guess I'll say, wild and free, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was so much more unknown with it.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's It's just crazy. I don't know. It made me smile watching that video and just listening to you talk about it. Like, I really appreciated it. Like, what's next? Macintosh? Are we gonna cover that next?
I mean, I'm sure we could talk about Mac games, the kind of stuff, and this is what we're going to throw into the poll. But we were talking about before the show. Part of the thing for retrospective is like certain points as well in gaming history that causes diverging moments. I mentioned that the Half-Life thing with Sierra publishing it, the whole fallout that happened with that, and the net cafes thing that could be an entire episode. The Evo moment that we keep talking about with 37, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's different canon events in game.
Right. Just things that it felt like there was this pivot moment that just stood out, kind of thing. So that's why I get everyone's feedback. Try to pull in some different stuff. We've done a couple studios that I'm very familiar with, so we'll see what happens once we get out of my comfort zone a little bit. But we'll see.
Evo's coming up, right? So maybe we'll do an Evo one. That'd be fun.
Maybe so. if there's some kind of Evo fallout, or we're talking about Evo as a whole, like the ups and downs.
Oh yeah. Yes. I'll try to get Mike Ross on the show as much as possible. I'm pretty sure he'll love that. He'll be like, who is this guy? With that said, Ace, why don't you take us out for tonight?
Yep. All right, class. Controllers down, notebooks closed, and somebody save that replay, because tonight had rhythm, it had history, and maybe just a little bit of button mashing that we're all going to pretend was experimental tech. It was button mashing. But tonight's study hall with Dead as Disco gave us a simple but powerful lesson. Rhythm isn't just about music. Rhythm is control. When the screen gets loud, when the enemies start moving, and when the beat is pushing and the pressure starts building, that's when you find out whether you're playing on instinct or playing with intention. And that's the tech right there. You don't win by throwing out every move you know. You win by knowing when to move, when to wait, when to strike, when to reset, and when to trust the beat even after you miss a note. That's what playing with intention is all about. You start with your why. You choose your focus. You set your win conditions. You reflect on what worked and protect your time like it's your last health bar. But tonight wasn't just about the new school. Nick's retrospective on Sierra Online reminded us where so much of gaming's problem-solving DNA came from. Those classic adventure games didn't always hold your hand. Sometimes they barely even gave you a hint. They just asked you to observe, experiment, fail, reload, rethink, and try again. And yeah, sometimes they asked you to, type the exact right words while you were one bad decision away from a ridiculous game over screen. But that was part of the lesson. Sierra games taught us patience. They taught us curiosity. They taught players to slow down and to think. And in their way, they were asking us to play with intention long before we ever had a fancy name for it. So whether we're solving puzzles in an old school adventure game or chasing combos in a rhythm action brawler, the lesson carries forward. Don't just react. Don't just rush. Don't just play because the game's there. Choose your reason. Find your rhythm. Learn from the miss. And make the session mean something. On that note, this has been Gamer Quotient Gaming Academy Study Hall. I'm Blazing Ace Nelson reminding you, style is cool, combos are clean, but intention is what turns gaming time into growth time. Don't just follow the beat. Feel it. Learn from it. Then make it your own. And as always, ask yourself, what's your gamer quotient?
You say it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let's send us off properly. Class dismissed.
All right.
There it is.
Mission complete.
Marvin!
Maybe he brought his neck or something.
I'm like,